Hola grandes amigos del mundo del coleccionismo, panitas, buenas noches y bienvenidos a otro directo de tienda de Fortnite, gente. Sí chicos, ya cada vez queda menos, nos quedan exactamente como el título del vídeo, 6 días para lo que es el evento final. Y ya sabéis, si queréis participar en el evento, por ahora nada más que hay 4 personas aseguradas. Solo tenéis que ir a la comunidad de mi YouTube y en la comunidad hay una foto para los que queráis apuntaros en el evento. Necesito que os pongáis lo que es en esa solicitud de incursión para poder participar en el evento, y contra más blogcitos seamos mejor. Pero eso sí, recordar que solo podemos 16 participantes, 16 blogcitos. Así que apuntaros rápido, que no quiero que nadie se me enfade. Y nada, panitas, ¿qué tal hoy? ¿Cómo estáis? Aquí estamos en otro directito hoy para ver qué es lo que trae nuestra tienda de Fortnite. Hoy yo sí que creo que pueda que llegue Celebro a la tienda y lo podamos ver en primicia. Una skin de traje, un botecito y un Celebro dentro. Por cierto, parece ser que para los que hacemos stream se puede conseguir una skin gratuita, que es la de los extraterrestres que llevan los ovnis. No sé si se puede o no, lo estoy intentando y se supone que se pueden conseguir algunos códigos. Si consigo algunos códigos, próximamente habrá más sorteitos aquí en el canal, gente. Así que estamos luchando por ello. Con lo que sea, tal como tenga información, os iré dando más información por aquí. Y chicos, recordaros que tenemos, eso sí, un sorteo vigente, que es una skin de 1200 pavitos entre todos los que estáis por aquí. ¿Cómo participar? Muy fácil, la mayoría lo sabéis. Solo tenéis que estar suscritos al canal, tener la campanita activada y utilizar el código de Thebloodsuck en la tienda de Fortnite. Si cumplís los 3 requisitos y me mandáis una capturita de pantalla como que estáis utilizando el código de creador, estaréis participando en este pedazo de sorteo. Y ya nos queda muy poquito, nos queda en el canal 1000 personitas más y ya podemos hacer el sorteo en directo entre uno de vosotros, los que estéis participando y estéis utilizando el código de creador. Así que mandarme capturita de pantalla por cualquiera de mis redes sociales, que las tenéis ahora mismo en el directito, en el chat. Y chicos, a ver, os voy leyendo y os voy saludando. Buenas noches, Vicky, bienvenido. Buenas noches, Sebas. Buenas noches, Dragón. Buenas noches, Cooler. Buenas noches a todos, gente. Por cierto, Cooler, tú no te me has apuntado, ¿eh? Vas mal. Mal, Cooler. Mal. Tienes que apuntar, tío. Si no te apuntas, chungo. ¿O es que no quieres participar? A ver, dame un segundito. Vale. En el chat os lo estoy poniendo ahora mismo. Aquí, en la comunidad, tenéis que entrar en la última foto que veis y decís que queréis participar. Y os anoto en la lista. Por ahora solo hay 4 personas. Así que apuntaros, gente. Y mientras, chicos, hoy va a ser solo tienda. Hoy no vamos a jugar en el directo. Eso sí, para que no os aburráis, como se puede ver, pues vamos a ver qué tal están con las retransmisiones de la FNF, que estaba por aquí, creo que en algún lado. A ver, yo he visto que estaba ¿Dónde está la retransmisión? Os lo juro que desde que han puesto esto así de esta manera, mal no, lo siguiente. A ver, FNS en fiesta magistral. Fiesta magistral. ¿Y dónde está la fiesta magistral? Por Dios. ¿En serio? Hombre, aquí está la fiesta magistral. La verdad que hay ganas de ver ya el evento final, a ver qué tal y a ver qué es lo que nos muestran, porque no paro de ver.
Hola.
What?
Hola.
Buenas.
Busco novia.
¿En serio? ¿Te metes a Fortnite para buscar novia? Bueno, chavales, ya habéis escuchado. Tenemos ahí un chaval en pleno directo que está buscando novia en Fortnite. Mientras que los demás vamos a jugar y vamos a ver la FNCS en directo, chicos. Si hay alguna chica que busque novio, hay un chico aquí que está buscando novia.
Vale.
Vale, chavales, ahí tenemos la FNCS en directo.
Bye bye. ¿Cómo te queda? Bueno, ahora no.
Vamos a silenciarlos, chicos, porque así no molestan tanto. Listo. Ya está, no sé cuál era, pero era uno de los tres, ya sabéis. Cualquiera estaba buscando novia, o el Joker 25, o el Dirty Berry Bad, o el Yashid, uno de los tres, que son los que estaban hablando. Vale, mientras ahí tenemos la FNCS. No sé si se ve mejor en esta pantalla o en la otra.
Only Vivid has eyes like that. He has special eyes, okay? That's how he was able to capture that. Fortnite fan, we're getting ready to jump back into the action. We heard the battle bus, which means we're jumping into game number 11. Only 2 more games before we crown another set of champions. So buckle up! We're going back on the battle bus. MDF, Reese, back over to you.
Here we have it. Just 2 more games left, Reese. It's time to start, decking up the cards here, playing the right hands, because the opportunities to bring it
Por
on
cierto,
home
espero que todos tengáis ya todas las cositas de la FNCS.
You saw how close it is, just a couple points separating our first, second, and third teams. And if the games continue to be as consistent as they have been for a lot of these trios, I mean, our final game, it's going to be pretty ridiculous.
It's going to be pretty crazy. We have to keep an eye out in the elimination feed for Tabs G, Teo, and Pledge to see if they go down early. If they get a 0-point game in here, for Dukes, Justice, Users, the same thing, and for Commandment, Sid, and Neji. If any of these 3 teams go down, it opens up the field for any of the teams fourth and below to really
Me parece a mí que este era el que buscaba novia, el Joker.
or any of the other 2 teams that we mentioned there, the current top 3, managed to maintain
Vamos a verlo, porque si no, no vemos bien la pantalla, no está ocupando parte de la pantalla.
It's going to be tough for anyone else to win. It could be it.
Yeah, that might be it. If it's like a 20-point game for, I'd say Tabs, G, Teo,
Uno que, chicos, ¿algunos veis en la FNCS en alguno de estos años? Más adelante.
Teams are really going to have a great game this game, or their tournament might be over. There's no more room for error.
No, when 10 games are done, 2 games are left, there's only so much you can do. There's only so many points that you can accrue in 2 single matches. 2 single victory royales alone will be 60 points. Add the eliminations.
Venga, perfecto, entra. A ver si me encuentras. Como entres los flipo. Ya saben, estamos en directo. Mi canal se llama igual que mi de Thebloodsuck, igual que mi código de creador. Y estamos en directo ahora mismo en YouTube.
Majors, dejen, Skittles though, 104 points, 104 points on the day. What a good day for them so far. It's great games, you know, being consistent, staying hot on the heels of the opponents.
Le doy un abracito porque busca novia y está el pobre desesperado. ¿Veis? Pobrecito. Tranquilo, hermano, en algún momento la vas a encontrar.
They're in fourth right now. All right, they're in fourth.
I want to know. They are.
¿Quieres un heladito?
235 points, so
son politos de pescado.
51 points behind currently in first, however only 16 points behind third place, so they definitely have the potential to overtake Commandment Sent and Edgy, as Commandment Sent and Edgy's last game, you know, 13th, 0 eliminations, very uncharacteristic for them indeed. So
a ver si te veo por aquí.
Keep an eye out for these teams in fourth and third, and obviously Aspect, Kaz and Hoofishy, who are very, very close behind also.
Si te veo por aquí enfrente a mí, jugamos una partida en escuadrón. Y te veo en menos de 5 minutos delante mía, Seba.
Top 3 will auto qualify you through to the finals, but look over to Ager's team again, getting into this engagement that we've seen them hype up so much against Colazzo's trio.
The thing is, we just watched them. They were, you know, cruising nice and pretty down to Sunny Street here, and all of a sudden, turmoil on the horizon right now. Colazzo on top, holding this high ground. They have them pretty much on a defensive stance right here because, well, why would Dejen, Agers, and Skittles want to throw away this game right now? Obviously, they were tagged up first. They're by all means doing the right play right now by waiting to see if Colazzo, Lazar, Trashy come down and make an error here, right? Reveal themselves. Colazzo could be the first one to get targeted. We'll see who they decide to jump on.
Yeah, and we know Dejen's team
doesn't have
that many materials.
Seba.
However, Colazzo's team did manage to get that llama already. So yes, he's completely out. We know the other team has a ton of materials left, so Agers is going to have to try and get up in his face. But no, all 3 of them are just going to jump straight into the car and try to make a getaway. But no, Agers is tanked up big time.
No way.
Dejen is only taking 50 damage, but that car is really, really weak as well. And if this blows up right now, that could completely take out Agers. But yes, it's a Need for Speed style getaway, and they are out of it. Let's go.
How in the world did they just survive that? And they didn't even lose a single tire, by the way, so the car still has some decent health here. They're alive. They make it out. That was a getaway. That's what Fortnite's all about right there, isn't it?
You gotta think, are they gonna be chased though? I can see the names over there. And it's Damiro Reverse.
No.
The one team you probably do not to pull up here, but I don't know if they've even noticed yet. They must hide. You guys have to hide behind this. Cover your line of sight.
Claro, Sebas, ¿cómo no? Siempre en Europa. ¿Dónde voy a estar fino?
That DJ, Agers, and Skittles are here at the edge of the map with nothing. No materials to work with. This would be the freest 6 points that they could ever have if they roll on through here right now. But no, they've not managed to spot them.
Mind you, Reverse Decay Damiro, they rotate out quick for a fight. So, like, that is quite literally what they're
por un momento creí que era la de John Wick, la chica.
And man, I hope you guys, you can breathe now, right? If you were holding your breath, it's okay. They survived. That was insane. Just, you know.
O sea, me está troleando alguien. Creo que ha entrado alguien en el directo y se está poniendo delante de la cámara. Oye, no seréis ninguno de vosotros, ¿verdad?
100% for them, right? That's going to be big. And remember, because they are currently in 4th place, that could have thrown, honestly, if they went down there the whole tournament, if they clutch up a big game in this, that, remember, the fact that Damiro Reverse just drove by and didn't see them is indeed legendary.
That would be so crazy. This, you could make a whole montage out of this one single game here, how quickly things just could have crumbled for them. So, all right. Now we got something to root for. Agers, Dejen, and Skittles here, whether or not they can actually bounce back here, pull a victory. Now, if they do, there'll be another team to go back-to-back today. So, guys, mind you, this is a very tough ask we're putting on the table here. So, you know, bear with us. We're asking for the near impossible, but it is possible. They're still alive.
It is indeed, and this is the remnants of what we saw. This is where Damiro and Reverse were headed. This is the destination they had on their GPS in that car, and they were pushing into this fight that we've seen so many times, but it seems like they're not looking to take it. This fight has obviously gone on a long time between Bank Teller's team going against Clix's team here. They're not looking to see if they've cleaned up any remnants. We saw on the map that there was a singular player at least up to the north, but they're just going to get on out here. And what I can see is that neither of these teams have actually been eliminated so far in this game, so unsure where they are. It seems like they may have disengaged, but they didn't disengage past Daymir in reverse.
Yeah, they were just a little too late to get to the steamy stacks here and try to find the fight. I was about to call it the Kevolution energy. I was like, huh? Wait a second. No, yeah, you know, the steamy stacks powered by Kev, you know?
There you go.
You see it. I see the vibes.
I saw there was a DreamHack question. It's the only time I ever saw. What was the name of the steamy stacks? What's it called? And I remember on that day I'd played Soul Arena, walked past and read that sign, and I've been dropping at that drop spot for 7 seasons, and I was like, oh, this place is called the Kevolution Energy.
Oh my gosh, that's actually incredible. Little things like that, little Easter eggs inside the Fortnite world. Yeah, look around, man. The art team's got some cool stuff planted everywhere.
100%. 100%.
Brocane, Mega Dove's back in a new position now. Hey, they're just trying everything, aren't they? They went south this time.
Yeah, and actually one of the things that's cool is you can see that Weeping Woods, like, because the trees that have been just completely ripped out, right? You can see the fire damage that's caused them to knock all the way down. One gas can or a couple fireflies, because the trees are so close to each other, just wipes out basically this whole area. So if you want to rotate through here, if the trees are there, great, your sightlines are covered. But if you want to get Storm Surge tags, those trees cover every single player trying to rotate in. So if you're Dubs, Rocane, and Mega, and you want to get tags, you just burn down this area using potentially the fireflies or the gas cans, and it just opens up so many more of your sightlines. But again, it's a tough place to get tags on because of the hills. There's still a lot of ways that your sightlines are blocked in there too, so we'll see how that Storm Surge strategy plays out for them.
Yeah, definitely. It might work out, though. You saw right there, they caught a couple tags onto Acorn, Jack, and Slacks, who were just rotating up from the steamy kind of area there. Night Shark and Clarity have already done their bum rush into the Holly Hatchery for a fight as well. You can see they're looking to get out. They've been using this whole use a vehicle, hop on a team strat. It's been working out for them so far today. Aspect, Who Fishy, and Kaz on the other side playing deep zone right now. Slow and steady.
I'm trying to figure out what the play is from here. Why they've ended up so deep. I mean, they have really good loot. 127 builds on Aspect as well. Potentially they're trying to keep their distance from a specific team that we saw was close by, but maybe a storm fight ensued because they seem to know something that we don't, that maybe in Believers Beach there's a team roaming around deep in there that they're looking to get tags on, that they're going to hold down in Storm, but I'm not seeing it. I'm not seeing any names pop up. I'm not seeing anyone on the map. Oh, there they are. Now they're starting to come in. Okay, Aspect, I think, has spotted them. However, yes, the sniper's out. He's going to try and look down long range, see if he can get anything through. But I don't know if this is going to be worth it, because the longer they wait here, the longer they're going to have to rotate, and the more teams are going to be situated on edge to hold them.
Yeah, and the other thing is, you know, how active have they been? How many fights have they gotten into, right? Like, they might have survived this first kind of surge situation, but, you know, the game's going to continue to roll on. I think it's worth noting that this lobby here is finally, you know, one of the lighter ones, I guess, right? 79 players up, but, yeah, up until this point, you have had just stacker after stacker, round after round. And actually, look, a person was rebooted, so we're back up to 80. Just as I was kind of mentioning the lightness of the lobby. Nope. They're going to surely keep that number right back up. Yep.
I mean, outside of game number 3 yesterday, that was madness. I couldn't even cast half of that game. I was just looking at the player count and thinking, how is there 65 players up per zone?
I'm not gonna lie, I was a little worried. I was like, wait, is this gonna be the first ever W key FNCS? Like, is this what we've come to? Like, is this what we've come to? But no, things got back on track. You know, intensity was, you know, put back where it needed to be.
Yeah, those players are just adapting to the crazy stackness that was game 1 and game 2, though. And then I think, again, it's kind of slowed down, right? Most of the Storm Surge has been roughly around 80 players. The level of stackness has been relatively similar in the majority of games. The teams who are taking fights in every other match as well. So, you know, necessarily the games haven't changed that much going on to this day as well. But for Who Fishy, Kaz, and Aspect, that question has been answered. How much have they done? And they've done 95 above.
Oh, look at this. Who Fishy finishes fights in average of 54 seconds, fastest in NA East.
Wow.
And you know, Miro's close behind that for sure. We saw what he did earlier today. That's just hands down.
54.1. Right. I thought it would have been Daymir in reverse. If, as a trio, at least, would have taken that tick box for that one. But potentially as the solo, this has got it. But hold on. They're starting to rotate into Tail. Tabs, G, and Pledge, who are actually in a fight with Gabe, Tahi, and Sprite at the same time on this Edge of Storm, and WhoFish's team potentially might make this faster than 54 seconds.
We're watching a huge engagement right here, and look, they're not even looking to jump in. They're just going to fire at these weak and fresh builds from the side. This is going to really entice the other team on the other side to go ahead and get inside. It looks like Teo and Pledge are in the better position. They're on the backside of these walls, but do they own them? How much control do they have here? And they need the surge, so yes, this is going to be a pleasure for Pledge now. If he can find his shots, but no, he gets punished pretty big there. He's got to be careful and look for a new angle. Come down, slow down, and start healing. 40 seconds. They have plenty of time to find these tags here, but they need to do it now while they have the attention of WhoFishy shooting these builds.
He does need to do something. Pledge, the one that's closest to him, TabsG is on that side, but Teo is keeping his distance, but potentially going out over the top, and maybe he can get a shot through into Aspect, Kaz, and WhoFishy and spray back before they even notice. That may be their best opportunity, but no, it seems like Pledge is going to get in, get close, go for a box fight instead, potentially go for some tops as he builds as much space as possible. Yes. Look, he's going for it. He's waiting for them to start spraying. He's taking his sniper out. He's looking. He built all the way around here to get this angle. They're going to heal up. Now, every second that passes, they're going more and more below as they haven't managed to get a single tag so far. This is going to be a 200-0 if they want to be able to manage to get actually above the threshold as they go for this wall. Now, two players on the same wall, but Pledge, shot traded back to him, down to HP at this point. He's still trying to get in with this low HP. ADS out, but no, the Storm Surge will pick him up. Teo now also knocked. TabsG alive left as a solo in the game, trying to out-heal this. 5 more players need to be going down, and 231 below. I think Tabs at this point is just trying to do what he can to out-heal the Storm Surge, whereas Sprite's team, with 6 eliminations total right now, are looking to be in a commanding spot in this fight alone.
And they're 1,000 damage above here. Ty's gonna step up here. He wants to take a swing at that. TabsG on the run right now. He's gotta hit some shots though. We already know these 3 medkits can definitely help him in this kind of spot, but he doesn't have the time to sit down and actually use them. And that is wraps for our #1 team coming into game 11. TabsG, Teo, and Pledge fall to the Storm Surge for the what might be the second time today, because they did just get taken out in 21st right before this. So these are 2 games back to back now where trouble is starting to set in paradise here, and the standings are open. They're open once again for Duke's Justin users to take their spot back in #1, or Commandment Sense and the Edgy to jump up.
I said at the start of this game, the teams in the top, in particular when it came to TabsG, Teo, and Pledge, cannot, and I mean cannot, have 0-point games. For that, right there, a 0-point game. And the game before that for them, I think was, what, a 5-point game? Let me just check. Yes, a 5-point game. So it's 5 points across the last 2 games to them. You've got to think that for TabsG, Teo, and Pledge, that the nerves are starting to set in. The potential idea, the thought that they could be FNCS champions, maybe getting them too much in the later half of day #2.
It could begin to slip away here, but they still have a whole game in front of them. Their most important game of the season is coming up. So don't go anywhere, y'all.
I'm going to be right here. Yo, that next game is going to be crazy. The last game always is. But for right now,
think
the
about
story
it, though.
stuff to be said.
I was going to say, just think about it. Since they went down, it's going to just mean that one more team is going to enter the ring here for, you know what I mean, for the fight for #1, because, yeah, you know, it could have been a runaway train situation. It could have been just another great game, and that was it. But now that they've fallen, I mean, yeah, it really does open up the standings a little bit more.
Yeah, in particular for DGen, Agent Skills, and also the team who was third-partying their Aspect, Kaz, and WhoFishy, right? If they have big games right now, they can clutch up big time. In particular, if we see a victory royale coming out of DGen's team or Aspect's team, or obviously like Commandment's team in there too, man, this is just a championship title opened up to the field of how many people can go for it. Not as many as was on EU, because there was like 10 teams who could have won it in that final game, which is crazy. But still, having a number of teams going into that final game who have the potential to be the FNCS champions at the end of it is absolutely crazy. Right now, see what we're going to see. As Justice Team's still in it as well.
This is close. This is very close.
It is. It is close. It's close indeed. Users team, look how low below the threshold they are, getting into a fight as Justice is actually picked up here as well. Users now down to low HP, Jukes as well. The second place team now also may be picked up here with only 4 points in this game.
Very, very important fight here. They go down, this is it. It's completely open for everyone else, but look, he gets a big pickup. Users picks up Justice here, and he actually throws him inside an enemy box. Can he get the save here? He's got enough distance, but Knife, Fish, Donnie here, they're on the way. They're starting to look. They're looking to see if these floors are weak, and they're waiting for one another to open fire as a team. But no, instead they hesitate. They think against it. Little do they know that is the team that can actually take home the #1 spot right now. And all of a sudden, Dukes, Justin, Users are also granted another opportunity in this lobby when they should not have it. They should not have this chance right now. That should have been wraps for them.
Knifer's team just made a potential, I was about to say, tournament-altering decision there. But not only that, Jay's got beamed out the sky. Donnie's now left at the back as a solo as Justice is picked up for the second time as he's got lobby focus from outside, and Donnie's team did not pick up the knock, but they're going to finish and get all of the loot for that too. So Jukes and Users now left in this as a duo. They're fine on the Storm Surge, but they're not very fine on the Rotate. Very much similar to in game number 7 when we saw Hoofishy's team burn that launch pad to get themselves into a better spot. We're seeing it again, but now they're switching to full metal builds. Will they be able to suppress the lobby focus? It seems like the eyes are not on them, which to me suggests that the eyes right now are still onto Donnie's team. So potentially not going for that fight was not the correct play.
Oof, they just pulled that off. They just managed to stay alive a little bit longer. Scented also by himself right now, split up from Edgy. Edgy on the other side, fighting Skittles here. Edgy, this is a very important 1v1 right now. First, second, third, all of which have had their own tumultuous games here, having struggles coming into this round right now. Aegis and Skittles find one another. Sense and Edgy will find one another. They are still in the game. So now another team has been fragmented here. Another top 3 trio all of a sudden has lost a member, and they are having a hard game. And this is an important game. This is a very, very pivotal moment for all of these trios here, Reese.
Look, think about this. First place, Tabs, Teo, Pledge out of this one. Second place, third place, and fourth place teams, being Jukes' team, Commandment's team, and DJ's teams, are all duos. So right now, our top 4 are completely in shambles in the second last game of the finals of NA East. You have to think the Aspect, Kaz, and Hoofishy, if they have a big game, or even Saf, Canada, and Stretch, if they have a big game too, this could hugely alter and potentially change the winners and the champions of the region.
Definitely. And you said it best. That was like a game altering moment right there. And then the lobby focus comes in still, so they weren't even completely left off the hook. Back to it though. Scented gets deleted out of the sky. Down he goes, and Edgy's gonna come down for the quick save. He does land on top of the box. No way Edgy's gonna be able to get this pick up here. Users and Dukes might be able to recognize the fact that this is a weak build next door. No, they're not gonna see it, but Visuals comes on in. Oh, pros don't fake. Edgy should have committed there. And look at that. Now Scent is going to get wrapped up, and Edgy's on the run here to try to stay alive. He's running past tons of trios, and no additional focus is coming in. It's all or nothing now as he's scrambling here to stay up. He's starting to run out of the heavy mats, and there he goes down, and that's it. Third place out. It's even closer now.
Third place is out, but second place right here, almost out. Jukes pops the med kit, no shield to his name, and I'm pretty sure User still has some in his inventory, but them as a duo is so tough. Another duo underneath them, Day and Reverse as well. I don't feel like we're even watching trios at this point. It would seem like every single team that's had a contention spot, that's had a pop-off, seems to be in this game as a duo. So for Users and Juke right now, they hopefully have that launch pad that they can able to get something, but no, they're playing that signature aggression when it comes to fifth zone. They want the refresh. They want to ensure that they can keep themselves moving through the first moving zones, that 6th zone.
And don't forget, guys, Agers and Skittles are still alive here. That's our 4th place team. Just paired up right next door. No, Agers is down. Jack Acorn and Slacks are still up. They still have a chance here on high ground as Bizzle right now, but Users down to 1 tag. Users falls. Dukes now has no HP. He gets landed on by Jack and Slacks. They're next door, and they get him taken out. Down goes Dukes, and all of a sudden that is it. 1, 2, and 3 are out of the game here. The standings are open officially for the other trios to jump on up to really set us up for a close final game 6.
those final games 6, 1, 2, 3, and 4 are out, which leaves Aspect's team still in it. And it was Kaz who actually picked up the 1v2 onto Azur's team, so huge plays from them. Stretch still in this as well, our number 6 team. Not playing their usual high ground playstyle, but they're close. And if I would bet any money on it right now, Stretch is going to look up. He's going to see Bizzle up on high ground. He's going to start spraying, and they are going to look to claim the victory royale in this game. They are not a team who is content with being second high, with being mid-ground layer. They're a team who wants to play high, and they want to pick up the victory royale.
This is the opportunity right now, opportunity of a lifetime here in the tournament. As no, the launch pad gets broken out there. Stretch is the only one who manages to take it. Kanata barely saves himself there, almost taking fall damage and getting taken out of the round. Here it is. Gabe is going to go on and fall all the way to low. Jack's still up. Other names still in this game as well. I am seeing, of course, Avery here. Who Fishy and company still up too. And there, Kanata does manage to get down to his trio. Here's Stretch trying to branch his way on up. This is reminiscent of the final game of last season as we saw it all come down here. But don't worry, we get to continue this arc here today because we still have another round in front of us. Depending on how this plays out, though, Reese, Stretch could jump up to top 3 here.
He could indeed, and this is such good awareness to make himself all the way up this hill. But no, Kanata is picked up at the back, so Stretch and Saf as well also picked up to Jack, who is just behind them on the leaderboard. So Stretch is now alive as a solo. He has to make sure he gets up this hill as fast as he can, and he's got Bizzle right on his back. But no, he's a great solo player. He understands exactly what he needs to do. He's got himself in that good position, and hopefully clutches himself up. Big placement points too. But Booga finally putting on a show with Nosh and Avery today, but no materials. They can't get out. They can't even build up with that single brick build that he tried to drop to Avery, so they dropped down to the back of the zone to avoid any of those eliminations giving them to anyone else.
All of a sudden, Frisk ends up on the high ground here. He's putting extra pressure down into the lobby. They're looking to take home this victory royale here. Stretch still alive, the most relevant player in this end game right now in a top 4 situation. Now, don't forget, Stretches have phenomenal solo performances in the past. One of the few players to actually take crowns home as a solo player, showing us what he's got. But there's a full trio up top. He's just got to survive at least one more team for some more placement points. I think he's done it. I think he actually clutched out this top 3. He's playing the Storm here, nice and slow. Can he steal away any of these elims right now? Wait, this is winnable. All of a sudden, this is very winnable. Stretch on high ground. It's a 1v2 situation. He's out of match though, Reese. He hits Frisk. That's one shot, but no, then it comes through. Frisk clutches up. Oh my gosh, that was so close.
That was so clutch. But for visuals, Big LG, Joji, and Frist as well. They're going to pick up the victory royale in the second last game for that as well. For them, they were looking really good at the end of day 1, but I'm not sure how close they were to the top at the end of our current leaderboard, so how much that actually impacts the top 3, the top 5. But look, Stretch, what a show he put on there. Clutching up a top 2 as well, remember, from being all the way down on the mountain, having to climb all the way up through the crevasse to make their way up to the top there to get a top 2. Beautifully executed play, and I'm sure that he's going to be happy with that, and in particular coming to this final game.
Hey man, definitely it's keeping it interesting for us here on the desk, and you know what, the story continues on. Let's hurry up and get to Zeke here so he can get to this last game.
Thank you guys so much. Crushing the casting right now. My goodness, shout outs to Observer. Like, if you did not understand the depth that these guys were in when that shot were looking up, that was a massive chasm they had to climb, and by that time there's only a handful of builds in the pockets of every trio trying to navigate their ways up. I will say, once again, Frisk and company, Victory Royale 10 eliminations, you love to see it. But Saf, though, Vivid, he makes it into a second place. That is 26 points by itself.
Yeah, I mean, Stretch goes huge right there. Kanata and Saf go down a little bit earlier than him there, but he makes a great storm play, hides away in the storm because he knows he has that chug cannon, use the remainder of his builds to sneak up on the high ground, give him a shot at honestly winning the game, as MDF called right there. You know, there was a real opportunity for him to 1v2 that situation, but you know, that out of the picture, he picks up second place regardless, picks up a ton of solo points. And you know, looking at the leaderboard prior to that game, they were in 6th place, trailing by about 40 points outside of top 3. So that clutch right there, combined with the eliminations, is, as you can see here, going to put them in the top 4 with only 4 points behind top 3.
Wow, guys, first and second place right now, 5 points the difference going into the last game of FNCS Finals. This is hype. This doesn't get any much better than this. Oh my goodness. I mean, we saw in the last game there as well, fellas. We saw that a lot of trios, I mean, early on, even Dejen, Ages, and Skittles there, like, you know, having to kind of drive off with 50 health left in their vehicle just to get something in the game standing points wise. We saw towards the end stretch, as you mentioned, made a massive play for Saf and Canada to get into that top position. You can see they're at 256 right now. They're in 4th place, 174 placement points, 41 eliminations. We are talking small margins right here. You can see even in 5th position, 5 points behind them, Slacks, Acorn, and Jack right on their tails here. 2 points behind that Aspect, Kaz, and Fishy. But I mean, this is the exciting time. Obviously, Reese and Vivid, you've chosen Commandment, Centered, and Edgy there, who are currently in 3rd position at 260 points. Only 26 from second, and I think 31 from top spot. There is still so much to play for. This is the last game as well, boys. Vivid, this is huge.
Yeah, I mean, if we go ahead and look at the math right there, Saf, Kanata, and Trudge had 220 points for that game, right? They just had a 36-point game. If we look at where Commandment, Centered, and Edgy at, if they get 36 points and Justice, Users, Dukes, and Tabs, Teo, and Pledge don't get really any points, then they can win as well. Just want to kind of put it into perspective how close this is going to be going into this final game.
Yeah, it's going to be so close. I cannot believe that they're back on the top spot again. After such a tumultuous start at the beginning of today's proceedings, they finally make their way back there, but can they hold it in this one last game? It's kind of our own little mini reboot round here. I say mini. It's a huge reboot round because it's FNCS Finals for the AXA Champions. But still, it's massive. I think that's what it all comes down to, is whether or not they can hold out and get into those top spots, because we saw a lot of top teams are going down early on, giving other teams to kind of a chance to rise through and get in there. But let's take actually a look here at one of our top teams who we think could be very much in with a chance. We just saw Stretch, I mean, that play as well over a second ago, where Stretch actually holds off in the storm, waiting as everyone starts to build downwards. He suddenly propels himself upwards to give himself the best opportunity, the trajectory above high ground, as we know these guys can strike so effortlessly, and gets that second position, giving them all those points. But I mean, they're a fantastic trio that I think we're going to, definitely see up there in this last game. They know exactly what to do. But Dejen, Ages, and Skittles, could this be their moment? Could this be their time?
Yeah, I mean, them getting out of Fortnite is going to be really, really important for them to be able to establish a run at like top 3, potentially even at top 1 slot, right? Because in that last game, we saw that the trio that they are contested by, Lazo, Lazar, and Trashy, they actually made a little bit of a push on them that game, and they ended up being a shambles. So unfortunate for Dejen, Ages, and Skittles in that sense. So they have to kind of figure that out for this last game because it's all on the line. I think one of the biggest takeaways from looking at Stretch, Saf, and Kanata over the past 2 games is that a game ago, not this previous one, but the one before that, we saw them on the low ground and clutch up a 2nd place. Then Stretch solo as well. They're not even on the high ground. They're playing that mid ground target again, so he has to make a solo clutch from the low ground. These boys aren't even playing height right now. Like, if I would have said that like 5 games ago, none of you would have even believed me. Like, these guys are height connoisseurs. They love playing the high ground, and they're switching it up to go into the last game and try to give themselves the best chance at winning it.
I think that's what separates a lot of the teams as well. The fact that we know that these 3 players are all capable in that situation of clutching up as a solo in that end game, which gives them the best opportunity. Other teams might not have the same X factor as these guys do, but I tell you what, that is what I think separates them from a lot of other trios, and it could go all the way for them today.
Adaptability, right? We talk about this time to time, season to season. Which trio can keep up with the changes, the meta as it continues to evolve season to season? This is it, Fortnite fam. One final game in NA East. Which team will come out on top? Will Dukes and company see a win? Will Tabs G take it away? So much here to fight for. And don't forget, even if a team doesn't get a victory royale, they're trying to move up as high in the standings, because at the end of the day, you're still playing for prize money. Even if you don't walk away number 1, if you go from 16th to 5th, that is such a difference in prize money. So let's do this. NA East, one last time, baby. MDF Reese, let's go. Over to you.
Here it is, guys. We're gearing up right now, and it's up to us to expect the unexpected, because that is what today has really proven to us, that anything can happen. Teams can truly rise up from the bottom of the pits here and all of a sudden be in a true chance to fight for the crown here. This is what we're watching right now, Reese. I mean, this is the final game. This is the last game, game number 12 of the 2-day format here for the FNCS Finals.
This is the final game. We've had 3 weeks of qualifiers, 2 kind of crazy days when it came to the semifinals, the reboot round. We've had 11 games so far. We have this final one left. And this is everything to play for. For Jukes, Justice users, the team we're looking at right now, 5 points in the lead ahead of Tabs, G, Teo, and Pledge. Underneath that in third, Commandment, Scented, and Edgy being 26 points behind them too. Honestly, we've got to keep an eye on the elimination feed. If we see any of these teams going down right now, it's basically over for them.
Yeah, definitely. There's no room now to fall here. Because again, things are going to settle down. This is that early game here. Take a look at the standings. 291 Dukes, Justice, and users. Tabs, Teo, and Pledge, 286. Take a look here. Teo gets knocked. This is very important. Our second place team, Trouble in Paradise. Third place, Scented, Commandment, and Edgy looking okay, looking comfortable right now. We're going to hop back over, though, see what's happening here. I hear shotgun shots unfolding right now.
Well, what's happened is a team switched up their drop swap potentially, or was he picked out of the sky upon drop? And it seems like it was that. So the bus came in from that southwest side, and one of the teams who'd landed on the Guardian Tower actually managed to knock him out of the sky. So panic over a little bit there. You know, I was getting a little bit worried. I thought there was a team switched up the drop swap, potentially went for the congestion there, trying to fight them, but no, they're lucky there.
A little "I'ma land on you" moment.
Almost. Last game got me worried, man.
No, it's okay though. They are completely clear, guys. They have the drop spots themselves. Things are gonna start to mellow back out, get into the normal groove here.
And a llama.
That could have been so close.
That could have been close. That could have been very, very bad for them. They got the llama as well, which ended up turning what was a really bad situation into something that didn't really matter, right? The team who landed to the west of them got their Storm Surge out of beaming him out of the air at that moment. They've got the llama. They've got a ton of ability to rotate much quicker now out of this too, and they're going to hopefully get themselves to a good spot. But looking at Scented, Edgy, and Commandment, who've rotated to the south side and already picked up Dictating here. We see Wrigley already hiding in the house, trying to just do what he can to keep away from this powerhouse trio that's here. As this third member of the team just tries to get out of this spot as well, almost just denying Scented, Commandment, and Edgy any points. But no, they're on the chase, and it's K-Burbs just trying to get away from the duo who's chasing them in the car. The
best part about this is that it seems like they were just saving this trump card for the last game because they know that the strategy of this trio, right? One player's always going to be down here trying to farm out, and this is why they take advantage of this entire thing, and leaving one player behind up on the mountain is probably the biggest risk that they're going to put forth. But it's a 2v1 situation. We're talking about two of the best to have ever done it here up against K-Burbs right now. K-Burbs, he's up. He's got a big shoes to fill here if he wants to win this fight right now. But it's about to be all over here as they start to hop in. There it is. Commandment wraps him up. And what do you think? I'm thinking they were waiting to play this one out right here, and all of a sudden now they have all the surge and the tags that they need.
Yeah, let's set this up in comparison to the previous season, right? They made a push that went on to Flush Factory that didn't end up working out for them in the final match. But in that time, they were leading. They were in the position where they didn't need to choke at that point. It was so close. Right now, Scented, Commandment, Edgy have nothing to lose. They are down. They're in third right now. They need the eliminations, and they need a huge game as well in order to push themselves back up in the leaderboards. Being down like this is the play. They've saved it for the moment. They know that Dictating's team is landing to the south of them. They've looted fast. They've rotated early, and they've pushed into that position and picked up an easy 2 eliminations here, which is summoned and kind of dealt with some of those real issues that they had with Storm Surge, which we have not seen them deal with typically before, but somehow in the second day, very, very problematic for them.
Yeah, definitely. Those problems start to pile up here, but hey, they're getting ahead of the issues before they really start to take its course. Kanata, Saf, and Stretch, you know, having a great day right now, 139 points so far. And the best case scenario for them, the top 3 teams to have a struggle of a round before, then all of a sudden them to have just a pop-off game off the backs of Stretch's big clutch there. They're in 4th place, sitting comfortable, at least in a true fighting chance here for the 1st place spot. Now, it is, of course, going to come down to whether or not the performance can be met, right? If Dukes, Justice, and users can outperform Tabs, Teo, and Pledge in the rest of the lobby.
En aproximadamente 10 minutitos tenemos la tienda de hoy domingo, bueno, ya lunes, día 6 de septiembre. ¿Qué es lo que traerá la tienda? Sorpresa, gente.
Hoping to see a large split from them, which they are. They're claiming 3
Hello,
different
boys.
horizontal spots.
Hello,
here, which is good.
girls.
They can have the most opportunity for tags. And actually, we saw in the feed there, Commandment finished up
Hi.
to Wrigley there. So that was the third elimination. So they picked up that final elim from that trio.
Live
So they
in
were not
YouTube,
slowing down
the
anytime soon.
Thebloodsuck
They were
channel,
still
bro.
looking for that aggression, and they've
The
set themselves up
Thebloodsuck
fantastically
channel
in this game.
in
Same with
YouTube.
Saf, spotting the
Pana.
line.
Yeah, and they need those points, right? They need those points. Those are big points. They have a gap to fill here to catch up, Reese.
Oh, hold on. Fishy's team being pushed by Moo right now. This is some animal-on-animal violence, but no, he's managed to back on out into his teammates of Kaz. I was worried that I thought Kaz and Aspect potentially had been knocked or were down out early, and this was the finishings of a final race here, but no, he's managed to get back into his teammates. This doesn't seem to be an engagement that we're going to see happening, and I'm wondering if in this final game we're going to see teams like Moo, right? Those teams who are lower down on the leaderboards go for a more aggressive game and try to pop off with a bunch of eliminations, because honestly, like, you kind of have nothing to lose at that point. Realistically, they're down in 32nd. If they want to get, I think, top 26 is where they get more money out of this. So they need a huge game anyway. So for them, they kind of might as well up the aggression and see if they can pick up a ton of eliminations and Victory Royale too.
Yeah, let's not forget, these placements stay with you as well, right? Your competitive career. So everyone here is hungry. They have the mentality of doing the best that they can. And, you know, sometimes you just got to game the system. You got to game the format. And if that means you need a big round with a ton of eliminations and not just an end game, hey, we're going to see some upsets here for sure. The potential is very high. But I think we've seen enough of those clashes, right, between some of the top teams, at least for what we'll see unfold for a last game here, game number 12 in the early game. Everything else should be relatively smooth sailing from here on out as far as the traditional pacing goes, the normal clash and whatnot. The early game fights, I don't see any of our top tier teams, if they have been taken out already, getting jumped on anytime soon.
Are you
No, I think all of our top tier teams are situated in the top tier positions. This is a South zone, which remember has benefited the majority of our top 5 teams as well, right? Because Saf is relatively centered, being in the late, but obviously a little bit to the south. We've seen Commandment sitting and edgy, already wanting and asking for those south zones as well. We see right now Slacks, Acorn, and Jack, who's currently in 5th, also being a South Zone team as they drop at Slurpee Swamp, rotating themselves up now onto the Guardian Tower here. So, benefiting a lot of our top teams.
Go to the shop. Por cierto, parece que hoy sigue manteniéndose Marvel. Ah, he visto la película de Shang-Chi y puedo decir que de 10, chavales. Recomendada, no, recomendadísima, chicos. Peliculón. Te queda un ratito. Yo creo que a lo mejor hoy la Galaxy se va. Morty no sé yo si se queda o no se queda Sebas. Te lo puedo decir ahora mismo más o menos. Dame un segundito. Pero creo que el Robo Morty se iba hoy. A ver. Vale, no, Mecha Morty sigue. Creo que hoy no se va nada, que solo añaden. Creo, ¿eh? A ver. Vale, no se elimina absolutamente nada de lo que hay hoy. Solo se va a añadir. Así que no peligra Robo Morty, así que la vais a tener más días. O por lo menos hasta mañana. Bru, ¿qué te pasa ahí? Drax. Dragón siempre espera hasta el final para ver qué es lo que sale. Dragón esperón, que le gusta esperar a ver qué es lo que le sale en la tienda. Sí. Y a ver qué es lo que sale. Yo creo que va a salir la especie de vikinga o el lote este como vikinga. Chunky. Estaría bueno que nos sorprendieran y hoy saliera Cabiejesco, hombre. Y todo el mundo ahí con la boca abierta en plan, ¿what? Pero como sé que no va a salir Cabiejesco, pues nada. Ya está casi, ya llega la tienda, 2 minutos, 56 segunditos y vemos a ver qué es lo que sale. Buah, Travis con más polvo que las figuras que tenemos normalmente en la estantería durante mucho tiempo. Por lo visto hay mucha gente que le gusta la carrera Galaxy, pero comparándola con la Galaxy original, no sé. Por cierto, no la veo ahora mismo. ¿Dónde está Galaxy? ¿Dónde estás escondido? Galaxy, te voy a tener que buscar, pobrecito. ¿Cómo la veis? ¿Os gusta más la Galaxy antigua? ¿O veis más chula la nueva? Opinen. A mí también me gusta más la antigua. Ahora por hablar nos van a poner hoy la Galaxy antigua y la Galaxy nueva. Y ya le petan el cerebro a cervecero. Chicos, no invitar. Hoy estamos en solo tienda. Semanita hemos descansado un poquito más. Que la semana que viene le tenemos que dar largo y duro porque... La semana que viene no, la siguiente, porque ya tenemos el nuevo pase de temporada. Entonces esta semana aprovechamos para recobrar energía. Yo preferiría que saliera Cerebro más que Yankee. Bueno chicos, ya estamos a puntito. 20 segunditos. 20 sexy segundos para ver la tienda de hoy. Y ahora sí, comienza la cuenta atrás. 10 anillos, 9 anillos, 8 anillos, 7 anillos, 6 anillos, 5 anillos, 4 anillos, 3 anillos, 2 anillos, 1 anillo. Shang-Chi, la leyenda de los 10 anillos, Marvel y wow, ¿esto qué es? ¿Esto qué es? A ver, vale, nos ha llegado otra vez el lote de arena dorada, pero... Y está Celebro... Ah, no, creí que estaba Celebro abajo. ¿Qué gesto es? A ver. Oh, es tu... Dios, copyright, copyright, copyright. Nos han sacado un bailecito nuevo en plan sorpresa. Nos han traído otra vez al Midas veraniego. Sigue estando el lote de Galaxy, que no se ha ido. Como dice Dragon Matón, perreo, pues por eso mismo han añadido a Perrete, para que perree con el perreo. El pétate, juguete para morder, wow. La de Vacancy me gusta, pero es que comprarme al Johnny de pijama y de vaca, pero me gusta bastante, la verdad. Tenemos también a vacas, placa, perdón, y chicos. Y luego por aquí tenemos Mayor Gloria, sigue estando, Álamo, Ártica, el Oats West, el Narruni, preparaos. Baile que vais a necesitar cuando tengamos a Naruto, que ya veréis que ya no vuelve a salir en Narruni cuando tengamos a Naruto. El Switch con remolino, el baile Días Dulce y poco más. Y para verificar que conservamos todo, seguimos teniendo Marvel, al lote de Henshin, lote de Gamora, lote de Charlotte, lote de Ant-Man, Venom, Capitán América, bueno, por ahí también está el de Ghost Rider, motorista fantasma. Tenemos también por aquí el de Blade, el cazavampiro, el gran saludor Capitán América, combinaciones con Deadpool, los lotes de Deadpool, los trajes de X-Force y los picos de X-Force, Viuda Negra y lo que es Silver Surfer, lote de Daredevil y los picos de Hulk, Booster y Hulk, el lote de J Balvin, lote de Jefe Maestro y lote de Robo Morty, que sigue aguantando para que podáis adquirirlo y poco más, la verdad. No hay mucha novedad más en la tienda de Fortnite el día de hoy, pero bueno, por lo menos nos han añadido un baile que no teníamos, gente. Para guau guau guau. Y lo quito, que si no me da copyright y luego me fastidia el vídeo. Bueno, nada, chicos, una tienda normalita, sí, pero por lo menos hemos tenido un bailecito nuevo. Y nada más, chavales, que mañana volvemos y mañana sí le damos un ratito al Fortnite, mi gente. Un segundito. Voy a dejar aquí a Paul, el extraterrestre. Se te va la pinza, Don Brack. Pues nada, chavales, ahora sí que me voy y nos vemos mañana en otra tienda de Fortnite y jugando. GG Panas, GG Brother. Y lo dejo incluso arriesgándome al copy. GG. Con el Paul extraterrestre bailando con esta canción de copy. Hasta mañana, panita.